isn't Doctor Who. This is anything but Doctor Who. The Doctor, purportedly, is back on Christmas Day in the new special, The Church on Ruby Road. Here's my review, my thoughts. Let's get into it. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel and welcome to a new review for Doctor Who, where I'm going to tell you how it is. I'm going to tell you how it is. This is, well, you can tell by my reaction there that this isn't for me. Let's get into the story plot first of all. We're introduced to Ruby, the Doctor, she who's going to be the Doctor's new companion. She's a child that has been left on the doorstep of a church on Christmas Eve. She gets named Ruby because the church is on Ruby Road. It's named after the church. And we come to see her later on in life. She's a child that's been fostered, has been adopted by this woman who adopts or fosters loads of children. She's searching for her real mother. There's a story about her being carried out by Davina McCall for a TV show. Davina McCall making her own appearance as herself in the show. And there's these goblins. There's goblins that steal babies, eat babies. There's a goblin king. There's a ship that flies around like a boat in the sky. Much akin to like Hook, I suppose, when the big ship appears, that sort of a thing. Yeah, and that's about it really. I mean, I couldn't sit down and record this. I had to gather my thoughts for this episode. Seriously, I almost didn't review it. I almost didn't want to sit down and talk about this episode. Pretty much our first introduction to the new Doctor in this episode is in a club. He's dancing away in a tight vest top, in a dress. Or a skirt, sorry, not a dress, a skirt. Dancing in a skirt. At that moment there, I knew exactly what I was in for. I knew what I was in for. I knew that I was in for a horrendous time. Okay, this isn't Doctor Who anymore. This isn't, and this is the problem. This show's not being made for general audiences anymore. This show is pretty much being made for the LGBTQ ABC community. I don't know how many other letters they're going to adopt. It's going to get to a point where they're going to just have to make letters up. Much like, you know, pronouns are being made up. They're going to have to make up some new letters at some point. Anyway, so you've got a Doctor here. We know that this Doctor is pretty much flamboyant to the point of being gay. We know that now that this Doctor is dancing in a, you know, and if you want to say, oh no, you know, if you want to argue the toss that maybe that was a kilt he was wearing. Now I am aware that Ncuti Gatwa is of Rwandan Scottish heritage, so that probably comes into play here, but you've done a disservice to the traditional Scottish dress of a kilt. The geezer is dancing in a dress. So you've got a gay cross-dressing Doctor. That is, okay, Doctor Who has been around for 60 years. Sexuality has never been his primary, or has never been his you know, character. Yeah, the Doctor's been flamboyant, he's been quirky, he's been grumpy, he's been had all these character traits, but it's never been your character trait is sexual, it's sexualized, it's something to do with gender or sex in that sense. It's never been that. Now it is. It's like, yes, gay cross-dressing Doctor. Please, that's his character. That's his character, and that's where this show has now just jumped the shark. I mean, it did with Jodie Whittaker, you know. she had some horrendous writing under her, turning... This is a political soundboard. That's what this show has become, a political soundboard. And even this episode here had other fundamental elements to it that screamed, you know, do I say agenda? Do I say it's there? It's there. It's trying to acclimate me, people like me, into accepting stuff like this. It's not needed. It's not needed in this kind of a show. It's, you know, the episode itself, the narrative of the episode was boring, right? Get all the other stuff out of the way, all the political nonsense that this show now wants to give you. You know, the woke, the agenda, the tick box, it's all there. Let's get out of the way. Okay, the story itself. Nakuti or Shooty Gutwa, because no one wants to be called Cootie, do they? No, sorry. They've cast him not for his ability. They've not cast him for his, you know, his talent. First and foremost, they went out to cast a gay black actor. End of story. Call that racist. Call that whatever you want. It's not racist. It's fact, right? That's what they wanted. That's what they went and got, because that's how they wanted to make the Doctor. Right, so first and foremost, that was what they had as an agenda in casting. Okay? Totally disagree with that. Completely. Totally wrong. And we're left with a character that is cringy, is just, it's not the Doctor. This is not Doctor Who. Okay? Anyone who says otherwise, you're living in a dream world. Seriously, you're living in a world where, wow, fantasy has just taken one step further into the realm of stupidity. This is the problem. The human race has now become so intelligent that its stupidity is shining through. And boy, is it stupid. Now, I am not going to be dictated to and tried to false acceptance, not even in a good way. This is forced politicizing, forced push at it. It isn't clever writing. It makes no sense for the character. It's just complete and utter nonsense for a kids show, and it is a kids show. Okay, it's a time traveling alien. You've got goblins in it. Goblins like little gremlins who just like to create coincidences and accidents and this sort of thing. Utter drivel. You know, Doctor Who, for me, Doctor Who should have ended with Capaldi. His final words, "Doctor, I let you go." So does half the audience. More than half the audience. Now, as a you know, will this show... I mean, okay, this is where it gets, I don't know, clever, smart, whatever. You've now moved to Disney, new home for the Doctor, Disney Plus. Okay, BBC, Disney Plus. So with BBC, your ratings were shrinking, forever shrinking. But with Disney, you're opening it up to a new audience. So chances are you are going to have bigger ratings, in the sense that when the show is on Disney Plus, you're probably going to have bigger ratings if it's in other territories, and it'll be touted as a hit. But that's the equivalent of me owning a VHS rental store, going up against Blockbuster Videos. Okay, so my numbers of rentals on a film in there compared to the number of rentals on films in there, it's just that it's opened up to a larger audience. So it doesn't mean a thing. So it'll take time. They're trying to breathe new life into the Doctor for the bi-generation. For the bi-generation, there's a good term for it, which is apt for Doctor Who at the moment. That's who it's made for. It's a shame. It's a shame. This show has been turned into, like I said, a political soundboard. It's not what it was. It's not what it was ever conceived as. It's a load of trash now. Load of tripe. I won't be back. I'm done with it. It's not for me. Most definitely. And yeah, good riddance to it if this is what it's got to give us. Anyway, tell me your thoughts down below. They were mine.